Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this Thursday morning, Thursday the 23rd of April. Martin O'Neill will do his press conference tomorrow. We'll get a nice little update on all things Celtic and all things players that had a closed game over the last week or so. Callum Osmond and Alistair Johnston, it looks like they will be back in the fold. It looks like they're getting up to fitness levels required to play games. But that's not the big news this morning. The big news is that the I'll tell you towards the end. It's on the ticker bit at the bottom, but we'll talk about it towards the end. A journalist and former STV political editor, Bernard Ponsonby, said, forget about the Ultras. Forget about the Ultras at Celtic. He was at a Celtic Foundation charity event alongside Sean Fallon Jr. and Brian McClare. And during the speech, he spoke about the Celtic hierarchy, as you would expect him to do, because anybody with a political mind, so much for keeping politics out of Celtic. We get told this all the time. Fans tell us all the time. Keep football and politics separate. So why would Celtic invite a political editor? Okay, might be a former political editor, but don't know, he's always going to have his political say in things. But anyway, he was there and he was raising cash for Celtic. He said, forget about the Ultras groups. They statistically are insignificant in terms of the worldwide fan base. That's something that I would like to question. Because I don't believe that the notion that Celtic have one of the biggest fan bases in the world, I would dispute that. They do have a fantastically big fan base, but it's not one of the biggest. You can go into various social media platforms and you can look at other clubs around Europe that have way bigger followings than Celtic, which said that their fan base potential is way bigger than what Celtic would be. As much as it breaks my heart to say it, do you know, when you can sell millions and millions of pounds worth of strips around the globe, and then it puts yourself up there. The fact is that the majority of Celtic strips are bought and sold in the United Kingdom. But anyway, he goes on to say it's the core of the support who have lost patience. Sack the board is a slogan, not a strategy. It's another dig at the Celtic fan base and the Celtic fans collective movement. Nice little digs from Bernard Ponsonby. I can't recall a time that I seen a picture of Bernard Ponsonby at Celtic Park. I don't know if anyone's seen him in any of the lounges. Maybe someone can tell us in the comment section. But it's a very strange one for someone that isn't known for being at the game week in, week out. Maybe he is, I don't know. The core of the support have lost patience. The sack the board slogan is not a strategy. The obvious way to sack the board is to vote directors off at an AGM. But everyone knows that the numbers aren't there. There is little point in sacking one set of directors to be replaced by another set of directors unless the business model changes. Okay, that's what the Celtic fans want. I want change. This is where he plays the double-edged sword. Typical political motivated and commentator, aren't they? They tried to play both sides of the sword. I'm not blind to the fact that change itself comes with risk. If Mr. Desmond remains, I suspect nothing changes. It's not clear to me who would take over if he decides to sell up, and whether new investors would actually get the support and what it's all about. In the last 25 years, it's been a period of unparalleled dominance with Celtic Football Club. You would have to be blinded by irrationality not to pay tribute to many of the people who have been in the leadership roles in the club, because they have overseen that period of sustained dominance. What an utter load of bollocks. A load of nonsense. The board don't pick the players. The board don't do the training sessions. The board don't put in the hard work on the training pitch. The board don't cross the line and get the results. Yet they're wanting to take. He's wanting us to bend down and praise be the board for everything that they've done over the last 25 years. It's been the Celtic players that have done the hard work. It's been the Celtic fans that have backed the team, home, away, in Europe. And let's talk about Europe, Mr. Ponsonby. When you talk about Europe and you talk about Celtic Football Club over the last 21 years, we've never won a knockout tie in 21 years. We've never got to further stages of Europe in 20 odd years. During this period of dominance that you say that we should all be grateful to the board for, Bernard. I mean, who calls their kids Bernard? You know that he's going to be a... Anyway, let's not get... The fact is that Bernard Ponsonby has basically come out and said that we're all wrong, fans are all wrong, and that yes, he knows that we need change, but he can't see it happening because there's nobody going to come in with £100 million to get Dermot Desmond to release his share. If he wants to take the credit, and if he wants the club hierarchy to take the credit for the domestic dominance, they also have to take the blame for the negligence in going into European football. And the negligence in not buying players in time for the numerous times that we've tried to get into the Champions League over the years, not funding the team correctly, not buying the players that the managers want. This is a double-edged sword that you have just opened up wounds that did not need to be opened up at this stage of the season. It's absolutely ridiculous that you've got someone... a charity event for Celtic, pretty much condemning the fans and condemning the Sack the Board campaign that's been over this season. It tells you everything that you need to know about the hierarchy at Celtic Football Club and the people that they frequent with on a weekly basis. The fact that Bernard Ponsonby turned around and then said, he did say, the inability to defeat teams with vastly inferior budgets is a sobering reminder that domestic dominance is not what the supporters crave. Well, this is true. So you're now blaming the manager. You're blaming everyone else bar the board. So it is. I'm always stuck there with a soft spot for Celtic, he says. This is partly down to the mystique and the unique history of the club evokes, but primarily down to the people who support the club. The best ambassadors for the club are those who support the club. What does it mean to me? Not trophies, not European Cups, not even quadruple trebles. Yes, bring the excitement, bring the joy, but for the club, means to me is bigger than material. This dinner is an end of the foundation. Fucking... It's before breakfast. I can't say what I really want to say. Get me on at 9 o'clock tonight and I'll tell you exactly what I think of him, but I think you can all gather. I would say, it's not European Cups that Celtic are about. Yeah, it's not. We've won it. And we've lived off the fact that we were the first British club. A lot of people don't realise that Celtic were the first British soiled club to win it because the English put down Man United as the first club to win it, or you won. Celtic were. It's people like Bernard Ponsonby that really get the backup of the working class support. And that, Mr. Ponsonby, is what Celtic are about. Celtic are about working class people going to games. Celtic are about working class people raising money for charity. Celtic are about working class people going over and above for Celtic on a weekly basis without having their name up in lights. There's been a lot more people donated to the Celtic Foundation over the years, and a lot more people done a lot harder work than turning up at a dinner, a black tie event with a nice little suit, black tie, and I'm going to donate some money to charity because I can write it off via my tax. That's the only reason that you geezers go to these type of events. I've been there, I've done it. I know the way that this all works. You know, they go to these events and they go with the company checkbook and they write a check and go, boom, charity, written off against tax. It's a con. And then you stand there and pronounce that you're doing great for Celtic, but at the same time, giving the fans a little slap down. Unbelievable. But anyway, that's Bernard Ponsonby. And he says, the foundation above all else is the spirit of the club. It is bigger than winning a trophy to help family in need. You've never helped a family in need in your life, mate. You have no idea what it's like to struggle. You have no idea what it's like to live on a couple of £100 a week. You're so out of touch. It's unbelievable. Tells you everything. Do you know, words are nothing. But you've never even been to a food bank to see the work that goes on. You know, you go into this room and it's like a mini supermarket. And when you see the amount of food and tins, and you see half a dozen people packing bags that are then going into transit vans, into baskets and transit vans, and they completely fill the transit van full of these individual food baskets. It hits home how many people are struggling. But you've never even seen that in your life. But you sit at your dinner and you say, oh, it's good that we're making a difference for the needy and the poor. It is absolutely everything that is wrong with Celtic Football Club. Anyway, let's move on from that, because the bigger news this morning is the fact that the people that Bernard Ponsonby hates, the ultras, are on the move. Yes, they are on the move with inside Celtic Park. That's all I'm going to say at the moment, but let's just wait till the letters come out for season ticket renewals, because there will be people in a certain part of the park that may not be happy. Anyway, we move on from that, and then the big news is today that Bernard Ponsonby is a donkey. But anyway, we digress. Transfer speculation. There's still loads of talk going around about the fact that a certain Celtic midfielder, the speculation has just grown on a daily basis with the whole Lazio talks being reported with his advisors. It's amazing how this stuff going on. As he opens it, of course it goes on all the time. Anyway, let's jump into some of the comments this morning and see what we're saying about everything just in general life. A lot of talk and attention on the Green Brigade, yet nothing for the other lot that ran full length of the pitch, attacking Celtic fans, celebrating over the who cares about them, mate? Joseph's getting a little bit nervous for the game on Saturday. I think that Martin O'Neill's got a big decision to make on Saturday. Junior Adamu was on the bench at the weekend, but never managed to get onto the field of play. Will he drop Junior Adamu? And is Callum Osmond a better player than Junior Adamu? That's the big question. Will Callum Osmond make the park this weekend? Will he make the bench? And will Alistair Johnson? Because let's face it, the games that are remaining are all must-win games. There is no room for error within Celtic in the remaining 5 games. Each one is a must-win. If we drop any points, well, that's it. The league is done and dusted. Can Celtic go on a convincing winning run, or can Celtic just get it over the line and just with the bare minimum? When you look at the SPFL table, something I haven't looked at for a couple of weeks because there has been Obviously, the Scottish Cup to take care of. Celtic are sitting in 67 points, as if you need reminded. Rangers are on 69 points, and Hearts are on 70 points. It's not mathematically impossible for Celtic to win the league. You know, like I said, we beat Rangers, we beat Hearts, and we beat the other two teams, and it's done and dusted. If we beat Falkirk this weekend, it should put us in a good stead. Falkirk have scored 45 goals this season. They've had 48 goals against. Celtic have scored 59 goals this season, way down on previous years. Hence the reason that we're in the position we are in. It suggests that Celtic are the one that have been has capitulated this season and been. It's our own downfall, haven't we? We've produced our own downfall. Let's just face facts. But anyway, Rangers have scored 66 goals this season. Hearts have scored 58. Goals against, Hearts are only on 28. That's why they're on top of the league. Rangers are 31 goals against, and Celtic are 35 goals against. You know, it is one of the most exciting title run-ins we've had in a long time. There are a lot of people outside Celtic, Rangers and Hearts that would love anyone but Celtic and Rangers to win the league. And it's an interesting one because at the weekend I spoke to people who are not Celtic fans, and they spoke about they don't even watch Scottish football anymore. And there's a lot of people in Scotland that don't watch Scottish football. They're tired of it, and because you know they say the standard's not as great, and they're fed up with the dominance. And that is one thing that seems to come across again and again with people that are Scottish, that maybe once supported Celtic in their youth, but now support other teams, which you're not really a Celtic supporter then, but they've generally watch football from another nation. Irish do it as well. It's not just Scottish that do it. There's a big shitload of Irish that watch English football. What's that all about? What is that all about? It's crazy. Anyway, that's me done and dusted for this morning. Jump into Celtic ultras are nowhere near Barca, PSG, etc. But our fans are still the best in the world. Every team needs an ultras base. Yes, they do. And just wait to see what happens where the ultras are getting moved to. Well, one set of them. What the Celtic fans want is a new board members with fresh ideas, new ideas, and the way forward, says Joseph Davison. But if they're still controlled by Dermot Desmond, how much will really change? And that's something that I've said before. You know, the one that you really, the only real change that you'll ever get at Celtic will be the day that Dermot Desmond is no longer at the club. But with holding a cash share value of £100 million, he's not leaving anytime soon. It's not a good return on investment. I mean, if Dermot Desmond has only taken out 7 million in profit out of his share value over, you know, if he's been paid out 7 million in dividends in over 20 odd years, some people will say, well, that's not bad for 20 years work doing fuck all. It's not a great return on an investment. Let's just say that. You could get far better returns playing the stock market quite easily. But anyway, it's not the European Cups that we're about. Well, it's just as well then, because we ain't winning one soon, says Mo. This is very true. All fans are working class. When you see the prices of tickets in various countries, I mean, is the English game really, you know, the top level game in England, is that really a working class man's game anymore? Sit in your arse, eat your prawn sandwich. I think football's changed. It's definitely changed a lot. And when you look at the World Cup this year, that is definitely not going to be a working class man's event. But anyway, that is me done and dusted for this morning. Can we no chip in to buy DD? If only. If only. Met Ponsonby at a bus stop once. Arrogant and stuck up plus weird, says Kev. Anyway, who cares? It's all done and dusted, isn't it? I will see you tonight, Thursday night, last live of the week on the evening. Due to the fact I always have a Friday off, and we'll get ready and have a look towards the weekend, and try and come up with the team that Martin O'Neill might play this weekend. Back to the league, back to the fixtures that are remaining, back to trying to win this league. The games that are on Saturday are Aberdeen versus Kilmarnock, St Mirren versus Livingston, and then the 5:30 kickoff, Celtic versus Falkirk. We get our game in early. Can we be top of the league? No, we can't, because we would be in second place on points difference, on goal difference, sorry. On Sunday, Dundee United versus Dundee. Rangers versus Motherwell. That should be a tidy game if Motherwell can keep it. Not expecting anything of Motherwell. And then there's the Hibs Hearts derby game. Can Hibernian do us a favour? Or would the only one that would be winning out of that situation be Rangers? Because that would, if Rangers win, that would put Rangers top of the league. And Celtic would still be in third position at the end of play. But the points will have narrowed. The following week, Livingston Aberdeen. Celtic are away to Hibs, and Hearts versus Rangers on the Monday evening. So the Sunday, if we can get one over at Hibs, which I expect that we should do, and it is ridiculous that there is only 1,400 tickets available to Celtic fans. It was only a couple of weeks ago that Hibernian cried and cried and cried publicly that the fact that they had lost money this season due to a reduced allocation to away fans. And a game where they could have sold more than 1,400 tickets to Celtic fans, they are only selling 1,400, and there will be at least 2/3 of a stand that will be empty, as their support will not fill it. Rangers away to Hearts. I would expect that one to maybe be a draw. If it was a draw, it would be a fantastic one, because then that would put Celtic top of the league if we win against Hibernian that weekend. Anyway, that's all ifs and buts. Let's leave that for the moment and have an absolutely fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are all around the world.